Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is all about the Fall 2021 Dream Summon, available through Part 2 of the Faith Forsaken raid. I'll go over my top 5 picks for the Dream Summon, as well as some honorable mentions. Before we get into that though, let me start with some general advice. When it comes to Dream Summons, it's best to pick an adventurer or dragon who fills in the gaps in your current roster. Ask yourself whether there's any quests you've been struggling to clear, any content that you want to be able to auto-battle, or any special shared skills or co-abilities you feel like you're missing. The answers to these questions will vary from person to person, and it's for that reason that there's not a definitive choice on who to Dream Summon. There's also no shame in taking the Dream Summon as an opportunity to snag that one character you've always wanted, regardless of how useful to you they are. Ultimately, who you select should come down to your specific needs and personal preferences. Another quick tip is to be patient if at all possible. We still have more than 100 free summons available this month. It's best to wait on Dream Summoning until those are complete so you don't accidentally use your Dream Summon on an adventurer or dragon who you would have gotten via free summons anyway. Waiting can be difficult, but as someone who's gotten a duplicate of my Dream Summon before, I still recommend it. Anyway, with that general advice out of the way, let's move on to my top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Midgardsormr Zero. Midgardsormr Zero is a wonderful wind dragon with a strong skill which lowers enemy wind resistance permanently and has a huge multi-hit area of effect. When max unbound, Midgardsormr Zero grants an extra 35% strength and HP, and his flurry skill ability provides 70% extra skill damage so long as the equipped adventurer's combo count is 15 or higher. The screen-wide AoE on Mids' skill is fantastic for dealing with the Bats of Eblis, the Fiends of Yaldabaoth, and the Water Orbs and Raptors of Legend Ciela. The extra HP provided by Mids is a nice cushion for ranged units like Basilius and Luis, and these units also tend to have an easier time maintaining flurry skill. If you already have Gala Reborn Zephyr or Gala Beast Volk, I don't think Midgardsormr Zero is necessary. Unfortunately, he also can't be unbound using Draconic Essences, meaning you'll need Sunlight Stones or duplicate copies to fully invest in him. It's for these reasons that, while I like him, I don't think this pick is for everyone, but I must acknowledge that Midgardsormr Zero does offer a potent combination of power and utility. At number 4 on my list is another dragon, this time in the Shadow element. Azazel is an awesome dragon whose abilities grant 30% extra HP and 35% extra skill haste, perfect for healers and support units. Azazel also has a useful skill for burst damage, which poisons enemies and grants your team extra damage versus poisoned foes for a limited time. And unlike Midgardsormr Zero, Azazel can be unbound using Draconic Essences, so Dream Summoning a single copy guarantees that you can max him out eventually just by playing the appropriate quests in the main campaign. Azazel is a staple on adventurers like Patia and Grace, who see plenty of use in Kayan, both for auto and manual play. He also works versus Asura on units like Summer Verica and Vania. Shadow has lots of strong DPS dragons, but few which truly excel on healers and support units, and the extra skill haste on Azazel greatly improves consistency of most auto setups. You may be able to get by fine as is with a regular Nidhogg or High Zodiarch, but Azazel is a genuine game changer once you do have him. Just make sure you already have the units who can use him well if you do decide to Dream Summon him. Moving on from dragons to adventurers, at number 3 on my list is Grace. If you're struggling to auto-battle any content at or below the master difficulty of the Agito Uprising, this may be your best choice. She's fallen in favor since her prime, but Grace remains one of the best units against Kayan and the early endgame. You don't want to pick Grace if your primary focus is the Sinister Dominion, because Curse of Nihility renders her life shields useless. But against Mursayadi, the High Dragons, or the Agito Uprising, her life shields prevent incoming damage, meaning your units won't get interrupted and are very hard to kill. She can also spam Dispel on her 4-strike, and to top things off, she alone has the 4-strike co-ability. There's a misconception that Grace is a must-have for auto battle, and I will say that's definitely no longer the case. Even for the Agito, most content is easier or just as easy with an on-element healer nowadays. In light of this and her lack of use against the Sinister Dominion, I feel like Grace is a good early choice to Dream Summon, but one who may not be as useful once you've progressed further into the end game. If you're already caught up on most Agito content and don't have much farming left to do, then Grace's value diminishes. Up next at number 2 is another shadow healer, Summer Verica. If Grace is a gateway pick to dive into the early endgame, then Summer Verica is for more enfranchised players seeking help versus newer endgame quests. Unlike Grace's kit, Summer Verica's is fully intact and even outstanding against the signature mechanics of the Sinister Dominion. Verica provides overdamage, regen, normal shields, lifesteal, and strength amps, none of which are nullified by Curse of Nihility. This makes Verica the best healer to auto-expert Asura, albeit there are a few alternative strategies using Formal Noel, Cleo, Lowen, or Sandalphon. Phase 2 of Master Surtur, which has yet to release, will require Shadow Adventurers, so this may be yet another chance for Summer Verica to shine. The one thing Verica lacks is Dispel, making her more of a risk than Grace against Kayan specifically, but a risk that can be mitigated with a proper team comp. And unlike Grace, Verica also has a fantastic shared skill, which is great for overdamage for players who don't have any other shared skills with that effect. Verica is also worthy of an Omnisite as a 5-star unit with a mana spiral that's locked behind Trials of the Mighty. If you already have another overdamage shared skill, or if you can already auto battle Expert Asura, then I think Summer Verica might be worth skipping over. Otherwise, I feel like she's one of the best overall picks. And that brings me to my number 1 choice, the gun goddess herself, Ilia. Ilia is a light element manicaster unit with good damage output and the extremely rare ability to afflict enemies with flash burn. Only 5 adventurers in the game, Ilia included, can reliably apply this precious affliction. The others are Irene, Rizarda, Summer Chell, and Gala Audric. If you don't have any of these adventurers, then I strongly suggest selecting Ilia with your fall Dream Summon. Her flash burn alone is fantastic for a couple different reasons. First, it's a shot in the arm for team DPS in quests which are locked to the light element like Legend Tartarus or Master Lilith. Light is the weakest element in terms of damage output, with most of its burst damage dependent on Dragon Transformation. By having a flash burn enabler in your roster, you can use the Extreme Teamwork Wormprint to give your entire light team Flash Burn Punisher of 25%, boosting your overall DPS. This Wormprint happens to be available at the time of recording via the Divine Deception Facility event. Second, Flash Burn is a required mechanic for one particular endgame fight, Master Difficulty of Iblis. This battle focuses on afflictions and demands the ability to apply Flash Burn rapidly in Phase 2. There may be some workarounds like defeating the boss early, but corner cases aside, there's no other way to beat this if you can't apply Flash Burn quickly enough. And if you can't, Iblis unleashes an attack which wipes your team. Ilia provides an opportunity for all players to take on this quest, which is currently inaccessible to many. This is why I think she's a clear choice to Dream Summon if you don't have another Flash Burn enabler. Besides applying Flash Burn, Ilia also has dual resistances and a unique dodge mechanic which allows her to swiftly generate a high hit count. This is excellent for manual play of Tartarus for clearing portals, and she is commonly used even at the Legend difficulty in both co-op and solo. Ilia does suffer a bit in the Sinister Dominion because her alchemic cartridges won't work properly against Curse of Nihility, yet she's still one of the better DPS in the light element despite this, especially considering her team contribution of Flash Burn. She won't help with auto battle there, but for manual play of Lilith and Iblis, Ilia is very solid. Just keep in mind that if you already have another Flash Burn enabler, then you can probably skip on Ilia. And well, those are my top 5 picks for the fall 2021 Dream Summon. The dragons and adventurers I chose offer functionality which is hard to replace or rare enough that most players won't already have it. If you're already covered in terms of my list, then some honorable mentions are Naveed, Lily, Akasha, Hildegard, and Summer Patia. Naveed can auto Yaldabaoth and has one of the cheaper to charge Dispel shared skills. Lily has a Frostbite and Freeze-inducing shared skill that's good versus Legend Twins. Akasha has an Overdamage shared skill, and she can Stormlash Iblis with Helper backup. Hildegard is commonly used for autos of both Lilith and Tartarus, and finally, Summer Patia is a defensive poison enabler who's often used to auto-battle Expert Asura. Leave a comment to let me know who you think is best to Dream Summon, or just who you plan to personally pick. That is going to do it for this video, everyone. So thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.